Are luxury homes starting to appear more than before to you as well? Learn the reason behind it. Drive through the streets of any big city at night. On one side, you will see new towers with glass facades. On the other, massive gates, private decks, sky lounges, concierge services, branded residences, infinity pools, wellness floors, and suddenly it will feel as if the city has changed. Where once a home meant a basic need, now in many places that same home seems to have become a statement. And that is where the fear begins. A city slowly turning into places where the middle class can only look, but not buy. And the curiosity is this. Why are builders suddenly making so many premium and luxury homes? Is the demand really that high? Or is this also a compulsion, a strategy, and a sign of a changing urban economy? If we look at the data, the picture becomes quite clear. According to JLL India, in the first half of 2025, apartments priced at 1 crore and above accounted for nearly 62% of total housing sales in the top 7 cities. That same share was 51% in 2024. In other words, the center of gravity of the market is slowly shifting upward. This is not just a perception, it is a change visible in numbers. Now, one important thing to understand here is that not every consultant defines luxury using the same price band. In its 2025 analysis, JLL showed the 1 crore segment as part of the premium/high-end demand shift, while 𝐼NAROCK in its 2024 data placed homes priced above 1.5 crore in the luxury category. According to 𝐼NAROCK, in 2024, luxury homes accounted for 21% of total housing sales across the top 7 cities, while affordable housing had fallen to 20%. 5 years ago, the picture was the opposite, when affordable housing was much larger and luxury had a very small share. This means that whether you take the definition as 1 crore or 1.5 crore, the trend is moving in the same direction, upward. The most direct answer to why builders are doing this is margin. 𝐼NAROCK's 2025 report says that luxury and ultra-luxury homes, meaning homes priced above 1.5 crore, had reached a 42% share in new supply, while affordable housing, meaning homes below 40 lakh, was down to just 12% in launches. The report clearly says that developers are strategically focusing on higher margin projects. When land is expensive, approvals take longer, raw material costs are high, labor costs are rising, and finance is not cheap either. A builder will naturally move toward the segment where margins are higher and buyers are a little less price sensitive. In other words, the builder's thinking is something like this. If I build smaller flats with low margins on the same land, then the risk is higher and the return is lower. But if that same land is converted into a premium segment project, then the branding gets stronger, cash flow can improve, and the per square foot recovery is higher too. That is why today, in metros and large growth corridors, developers are putting so much emphasis on brand, experience, clubhouse, architecture, privacy, gated security, wellness, green certification, and lifestyle language. This is not just the story of a beautiful brochure, it is the story of a business model. But the other face of this trend is being seen by the middle class. Because the rise of luxury homes does not only mean more options for the rich, it also means that the relative supply of affordable and lower mid-segment homes is shrinking. Knight Frank's 2025 Affordable Housing Report says that in the top 8 cities, the launch share of homes priced below 50 lakh fell from 52% in 2018 to just 17% in the first 6 months of 2025. That is a very sharp decline. The same report also shows that in the affordable category, launches are lagging behind sales, meaning demand has not disappeared completely, but supply is not coming in at the same pace. This is where the middle class begins to feel the pain. Earlier, income may have been limited, but some reasonably priced flat could still be found inside the city or somewhere close to it. Today, either that same budget has shrunk into a much smaller home, or the house has moved far outside the city, or the EMI has become so high that it shakes the family's monthly cash flow. The dream of a home is no longer just about the down payment. It has become a combined equation of location, commute, school, safety, maintenance, loan eligibility, and future resale value. And in this equation, the middle class often seems to be getting squeezed from every side. To understand affordability, the EMI to income ratio becomes very important. According to Knight Frank India's 2025 Affordability Index, despite improved housing affordability in Mumbai, the EMI to income ratio there is still 47%. In other words, almost half of an average household's income could go into home loan EMIs. Yes, it has come below the 50% stress threshold, but it is still very high. According to that same report, Ahmedabad stands at 18%, while Pune and Kolkata are at 22%, making them more affordable markets. This means that not every city is the same, but in expensive markets, the pressure of buying a home is still very heavy. So it would not be correct to say that the situation is the same everywhere, but it is absolutely supported by data to say that the middle class is under pressure in large expensive cities. There is also an interesting contradiction here. In 2025, Affordability improved in some cities because home loan rates came down and incomes also rose. Yet why do homes still feel more expensive to people? The reason is that affordability is an average measure, while market reality differs from segment to segment. If overall rates come down, then taking a loan feels easier. But if at the same time developers shift supply toward the premium side, then middle class buyers get fewer options within their budget. So there may be some relief from the finance side, but pressure can still remain from the product side. That is the housing paradox of urban India today. The example of NCR makes this even clearer. According to Knight Frank, in 2025 NCR saw a marginal deterioration in affordability, and the reason was the rise in weighted average prices because of premium housing activity. This means that when premium segment activity rises in a city, the average market price moves up, and that can also affect affordability numbers. So the boom in luxury homes is not just the story of rich buyers. It is also a force that changes the pricing ecosystem of the entire city. So is the demand really that strong? The answer is yes, but also a little nuanced. According to JLL, in 2025 demand in the 3 crore to 5 crore category grew by around 14%. And growth was also recorded in the 5 crore segment. Markets like Bengaluru, Mumbai, and Pune account for nearly 63% of the residential sales volume across the top 7 cities. In other words, wealth creation, startup money, high salaries of senior professionals, business families, NRI demand, and investment-oriented buying have all supported the premium segment. For this buyer group, a home is no longer just a shelter, it has also become a lifestyle product and a tool for parking wealth. India's wealth structure has also changed. The number of high-income professionals, founders, CXOs, family offices, established business owners, and global income earners has increased. For them, real estate becomes attractive for many reasons. A visible asset, the option of leverage, an inflation hedge, legacy value, rental possibility, and social prestige. The stock market may be volatile, startup investments may be illiquid, and gold has limited utility. But in luxury real estate, both status and asset come together. That is why it would be incomplete analysis today to see premium housing only as a house to live in. Many buyers also see it as portfolio diversification. JLL's data on premium demand shift and ANAROCK's data on supply tilt point toward this broader trend. But the question of cities does not end with wealthy demand. If housing options begin to shrink for teachers, bank employees, junior managers, government staff, service professionals, shop owners, the delivery ecosystem, hospital staff, and entry-level white-collar workers, then the entire urban balance starts getting disturbed. Then workers begin living far away, commute time increases, traffic rises, family time falls, productivity drops, and social segregation grows. This is not only a real estate market issue, it is also an urban planning issue. A shortage of affordable housing eventually affects the quality of city life. That is why this supply-side shift should not be seen only as a business success story. Now the question comes, are developers wrong? It would not be right to say that completely either. Builders operate in an environment where land cost is very high, the approval process is complex, infrastructure is uneven, and buyers are sharply divided across segments. If in a city land stamp duty, compliance costs, and construction material are all expensive, then building low-cost housing becomes financially difficult. Knight Frank's report also says that private participation in affordable housing gets stuck because of many bottlenecks. In other words, without policy support, land use flexibility, faster approvals, infrastructure push, and viable incentives, developers will naturally tilt toward the premium segment. That is why the government's role becomes very large in the housing debate. If affordable housing is left only to the market, the gap may widen even more. Tools like PMA programs, transit-oriented development, infrastructure in peripheral areas, rental housing reforms, and higher density planning become very important. FSI, that is, floor space index, is also an important factor here. If density is increased in cities through proper planning, transport is improved, and affordable projects get faster approvals and policy incentives, then more viable inventory can be created for middle income and lower income segments. India's housing challenge is not only about demand, but also about usable, livable, connected supply. Another trend is rising quickly. People are increasingly thinking about buying a plot and building their own home instead of buying a ready luxury flat. This trend is not equal across every city, but it has gained strength in fringe areas with land parcels, Tier 2 and Tier 3 markets, and city outskirts. The reason is clear. Many families feel that if within the same budget, a branded apartment is either too small or too far away, then plot-based construction according to their own needs may be a better option. It offers flexibility, design control, future expansion is possible, and sometimes the total cost also works out better than a flat. Of course, this also comes with execution risk, permissions, contractor quality, timeline delays, and the challenge of self-management. So it is not a perfect solution, but it is definitely a rising alternative. The rental housing angle has also become more important now. For a long time in India, owning a home was seen as a symbol of social security and status. But as housing in prime cities has become more expensive, living on rent is increasingly becoming a practical strategy. In countries like Germany and Singapore, secure rental ecosystems are part of housing stability. In India, the rental market still feels fragmented and legally weak in many places, which is why the desire for ownership remains strong. But if a decent, predictable, tenant-friendly rental model becomes stronger in urban India, then the immediate pressure on the middle class to buy a home could reduce somewhat. Otherwise, people will keep buying homes simply out of fear that they will become even more expensive later. The psychological effect of the luxury boom is also significant. When social media, billboards, city skylines, and real estate ads keep showing premium projects everywhere, society's housing expectations also begin to change. Buyers start comparing amenities more than square footage. Kids' play zones, co-working lounges, golf views, branded interiors, rooftop leisure. These all become aspirational language. But in the middle of this, many families quietly begin to feel that basic, well-located, honest value housing is disappearing from the market. That perception increases housing anxiety even more. Still, the story is not completely one-sided. Knight Frank's data shows that in 2025, because of lower loan rates, affordability improved in 7 out of 8 major markets. That means demand is not collapsing completely. End-user buyers are still there. Markets like Pune, Kolkata, and Ahmedabad offer opportunities because of relative affordability. In some cities, the sub 50 lakh segment still holds meaningful demand. So India's housing market has not become entirely luxury only. But the direction is clear. The visible presence of premium and high-end housing has increased more than before, and affordable supply is no longer entering the market with the same strength it once did. So if you also feel that luxury homes are appearing more than before in cities, your observation is correct. This is not just an illusion. The data shows that the sales share of the premium segment has gone up, launches have shifted toward the premium side, and the supply share of affordable housing has sharply declined over the last few years. Builders are doing this because margins are better there, demand is being supported by wealthier buyers, and urban land economics is pushing them in that direction. But the second effect of this trend is falling on the middle class, for whom home ownership is becoming more difficult than before in many cities. In the end, the issue is not just that luxury homes are rising. The real question is whether our cities will keep getting built only for those who can buy a premium lifestyle. Or will a model of urban growth emerge in which the middle class and affordable housing also get equal space? Because cities remain balanced over the long run only when they have both aspiration and accessibility. If aspiration rises too high and accessibility keeps falling, then the skyline may continue to shine, but the city begins to become unbalanced from within. And perhaps that is why, when we see the rising shine of luxury housing, we should not only say wow, but also
This
stop
video
and
has
think a
taught you
little.
something new, or if you feel this information should reach more people, don't forget to like and share the video. Your small share can become valuable and useful information for someone else. If you have any questions related to this topic, or if you would like to share your opinion with us, be sure to write in the comment box. We read every question and suggestion from you, because your feedback inspires us to create better content. And if you want to keep receiving such interesting and reliable information about business, the economy, and the world in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel GRT Business and also press the bell icon so that you get notifications of every new video directly. At GRT Business, we always strive to provide you with accurate, balanced, and reliable information. Our news and analysis are prepared based on information obtained from various news agencies, public sources, and public opinion. We make every effort to verify and validate each fact as much as possible. But in case of any possible error or dispute, the responsibility lies with the respective sources. Our only aim is to present you with a correct and trustworthy perspective so that you can understand any topic better.